Let's talk about saddles this morning. I'll kind of talk about each of the saddles I ride as we go here. We'll make this a little, we'll call it a saddle series. But this saddle is a Harwood, and it's a real, there's lots of story to this saddle, but I love it. It's a full carved saddle. It's really a great fitting, great feeling saddle. And if you know anything about the Harwood line, so of course, I guess maybe Ray Hunt might have made Harwood known to the world, but lots of cowboys used them around Idaho, Nevada area. And Dale Harwood was, it's funny, so when I was a kid, my grandfather managed a feedlot in Roberts, Idaho. Golden Valley Pack was the outfit. And we'd go to town in Idaho Falls, and I'd go spend my summers with him when I was a kid, and we would go and stop at this saddle maker's place, and we just visit with him, this saddle shop. And so it was called Trails End Saddle Shop. So that all happened. Then through the years I forgot all about that. Well, I always wanted to meet Dale Harwood because I've heard so much about him, and so many of the saddles that I ride, other saddles I ride, are from students at Dale Harwood, and of course Ray Hunt and Buck, and a lot of them rode Harwoods. So I was at this deal called Beef, Beans, and Bullshit that Chaz Weldon put on, and Bill Reynolds, and Dale Harwood was there. And so I said, well, dang, man, I've been wanting to meet you. And I listened to stories, and I talked to him, and his wife, Karen, were there. And I said, I've wanted to meet you forever. And he said, well, I knew you when you were a little kid. I said, what? He said, you used to come in the saddle shop all the time with your grandpa, and I didn't even put the two together. So I knew Dale Harwood as a kid. So I've got a Dale Harwood saddle, but the way I got the saddle is really, really interesting. So a friend of mine, Tim Trebon, he was a businessman in Kansas City. And so Tim, we got along real good, and we got to be good friends. And so anytime I'd go to the Kansas area, he'd provide me horses, and he always brought me this Harwood saddle because I had told him that story. Well, Tim got sick, and he just always left the stirrups the same length. He never changed it. When I'd go back, it would be the same as I left it. So he didn't ride this saddle. He just left it for me. And he had a bunch of saddles. He was a good collector. So Tim got cancer. And he had to go to Houston and stay, and he lived there for 3 months or something, or longer, he and his wife, and they were working on this cancer deal. Well, one day he sends me an email, and he says, you know, it's very rude of you to leave your saddle sitting in my tack room, cluttering up my tack room. And he said, that Harwood is in my way, and I'm going to send it to you and get it out of my tack room. And so I read this email, and I was kind of floored, and I said, no, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come, when you get out of there, I'm going to come to Kansas, and we're going to take a ride, and we're going to talk about it. Well, he never got out. He ended up dying in the hospital, and I thought, okay, there's that. Well, his wife, Patty, is a wonderful person. She saw the email and knew the deal, and she called me up and said, you've had a saddle here that you need to come get. And so this saddle has real special meaning to me because my friend Tim Trebon gave it to me, and Jay Harwood made it. And it's just such a special saddle. So every time I ride it, I think about Tim and times with my grandfather and everything. So that's what a good saddle. You got to ride a good one, and if it has some memories and things, it's even better.